14. Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. And whither I go, ye know, and the way ye know.
It's about time, man, because I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to get the kingdom. I'm ready to live. I'm ready to breathe fresh. I'm ready to have beautiful, pure women, okay? Not no strawberry hollows on this side. I'm ready to have children, man, you can vibe with, okay? Be around brothers. Be around the Lord himself, okay? I'm ready to go and visit places in the galaxy that we didn't know exist. All right, I'm ready to walk on sandy beaches, man, and explore the ocean floors. I'm ready to fly, okay? I'm ready to eat real food, okay? I'm ready to drive a chariot, man. All right, I'm ready to minister to the Lord and to be ministered to, man. Okay, I'm ready to worship Yahweh Shai in its full entirety. Okay, I'm ready for it. We're ready, man. I'm ready to see angels and greet angels.
But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit. But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rekakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakakwadash, pushing to get up out of there. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Shai. All right, and what I want to get into with this lesson is they that trust in riches. You know, they that trust in riches. And we live in a society, you know, that's very, you know, materialistic. All right, and wealth on this side, you know, is associated, okay, with perverseness, you know, with a certain lifestyle, all right, pride, okay, ego, you see, you know, super, you know, it's a hyper individual, you know, the main character syndrome, you know, and money on this side can be very dangerous. You know, now there's nothing wrong with having wealth, with having money, you know, brothers, you know, and sisters have things, you know, certain brothers, certain sisters, the Lord, you know, has put, you know, in certain places, certain positions, you know, to have particular things, you know. So wealth itself, you know, is not wicked, okay? But we have to understand that wealth on this side, you know, gives us access, you know, to things, okay, that could be very harmful. You know, it's easy to overdo things in this society, you know, with excess of resources, you know. It's easy, and you look at our people, you know, that come into wealth, you know, and most of them run themselves to the ground, you know, because wealth without discipline, okay, and without the fear of the Lord, okay, is a dangerous thing. You see, and I want to get into some things because this lesson was inspired by a precept in the book of Mark, the 10th chapter. You know, by an account in Mark, the 10th chapter, dealing with Yahweh Shai. Now, when you go to the book of Mark, chapter 10, verse 23, it says, and Yahweh Shai looked around about and said unto his disciples, how hardly shall they that have riches enter into the kingdom of the Most High. Now, this is when, you know, he came across, you know, this Jake, you know, that was inquiring about the kingdom, you know, and Yahweh Shai told him about the law. And he said, well, he was keeping, you know, Yahweh Shai listed some laws. And Jake was like, yeah, I'm keeping them, you know. And then Yahweh Shai said, well, it's one thing that you lack, you know, sell all that you have and follow me. Okay. Now, he was a man of substance. And when he heard that, you know, he wasn't willing, all right, to sell what he had and follow Yahweh Shai, you know, which there was a test of faith. Okay. So he was able to go through the motion of keeping the law. But when he came to faith in Yahweh Shai, he didn't have it. He wasn't willing to make a sacrifice. He wasn't really willing to step out there, you know, and it shows you that he didn't have a big picture mindset. You know, his mindset was in this current world. It didn't go beyond this current world. One thing about this truth, you know, we develop a mindset beyond this current world, this current age, you know, but this rich, what they call this rich, you know, young ruler, okay, who had, you know, had great wealth and substance. He didn't see beyond this world. Okay. He didn't have the faith to say, well, if I, you know, follow Yahweh Shai, I'm gonna be good anyway. I'm following Yahweh Shai. You see, I will be good anyway. Okay. And that's the way we got to think, because we come to some times where we're going to have to leave everything we got. We not, you know, a lot of us are not wealthy, but we have possession. We have things. We have, you know, certain comforts, and, you know, and we're going to have to give these things up to follow Yahweh Shai, man, through this straight gate. Okay. There's certain decisions that we're going to have to make based on faith in Yahweh Shai that's going to cause us to lose on this side, man. You know, and he had that wealth, so he was used to a certain lifestyle, and he didn't want to lose that for Yahweh Shai. Okay, so Yahweh Shai is using that as a teaching moment for his disciples. Okay, he says, how hardly shall they that have riches enter into the kingdom of heaven. Now, we understand how hardly, which means it's harder for someone with wealth, you know, to make the sacrifice needed to follow Yahweh Shai. Not saying that any, because scripture say not many rich, not many noble. Okay, it don't say any, you see, but not many. All right, that are rich are going to be willing to make that sacrifice to follow Yahweh Shai. You know, to be lied on, you know, to be mocked, to be scoffed, to go on the highways and byways. Okay. Not many is going to be willing to be able to do that. They have wealth, man. It says, and the disciples were astonished at his words, but Yahweh Shai answered again and said unto them, children, how hard is it for them that trust in riches to enter into the kingdom of the Most High? You see, he said, how hard is it for them that trust in riches? Okay, so it's not having the riches themselves, you know, is a thing of, you know, it's sin. It's wrong. Okay. But when you trust in them riches, see, he trusted in the riches above Yahweh Shai. Okay. So he wasn't worthy, all right, of the kingdom. You know, it says it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of the Most High. Now, understanding this customs of the East, all right, this was speaking of, you know, when you would travel, all right, and they had the gates made, you know, to where the camel, you know, would have to get down and crawl through the hole, you know, and a lot of camels, you know, didn't want to do that. You know, it's a difficult thing, okay, to get a camel to get down, okay, and crawl through that hole of the gate. you know, and they had it like that. So, you know, you will have access to the city, but they wouldn't be able to be invaded. No one will be able to invade them, you know. So they had to where they made it difficult, okay, for a camel to get through. Okay. So when he's speaking about the eye of a needle, that's what he's speaking of, not a camel, you know, walking through a sewing needle. You see, that's not what they're speaking of. It goes back to the Eastern custom, you know, dealing with how the walls of the city were made in certain cities. You know, they would have that they call it the eye of a needle. You know, where you have to the camel will have to get low and get through. But when you go to verse 26, it says, and they were astonished out of measure, saying among themselves, who then can be saved? And Yahushua looking upon them said, with men it is impossible, but not with the Most High. For with the Most High, all things are possible. You know, so if it's meant for someone with substance, you know, to come into the truth, okay, well, the Most High is going to give them the spirit needed to make the sacrifice. And it ain't about, because people, like I say, his brothers and sisters that have substance right now, they've been in the truth for years. Okay. So it's not a thing about, you know, everyone that has substance, they got to sell everything they have, okay, to be a part of the truth. You see? But there's going to come a time where we're all going to be required, even those with substance, you know, to let everything go. You see? And there's sacrifice along the way that those with substance, you know, have to make. And we all have to make sacrifice, man. Okay? We all have to make sacrifice. You see? But when you have, you know, when you're used to a particular lifestyle, you know, particular income, particular this, okay, it would be harder. But if you are the elect, the Lord gonna put the spirit on you to do what need to be done. You know, to sacrifice for the truth, sacrifice for Yahushua, man. You know, and then when we understand what we got coming, that's why let's go here. We always get this. Well, let's get this in let's get this in 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse I started at 6, 1 Timothy 6 and 6. It said, but godliness with contentment is great gain. You know, but godliness with contentment is great gain. You know, so as we're becoming like Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, that's more valuable than money. Us being conformed to Yahweh Yahushua is more valuable than money. Okay. Now, of course, like we always go into, you do what you got to do. You know, you got bills, you got obligations, you handle your business. You know, as responsible adults. You know, do what need to be done. Okay. Manage your situation. You see, and we're talking about, you know, we're being kings where the kings have to manage their affairs. Okay. So we manage our affairs, you see. But the thing is, we don't have this, you know, this lust, this drive to go and become wealthy, man. You know, in the world we was obsessed. You know, I was obsessed with, you know, me speaking personally, I was obsessed with that, man. You know, having this, you know, a lot of money, you know, status, popular, you know, celebrity, you know, these are the things that a lot of us was obsessed with, man. Okay. But we was becoming like Satan. You see, we were chasing money, becoming like Satan, man. And that's the thing about this society. You have to sacrifice to Satan for the wealth. You have to lose yourself for the wealth in this society, man. Even if you don't make the you know, you don't do the official rituals and okay, but chasing money on this side, okay, when you in love, when you obsessed with it, when you worship it, when you idolize the money, it becomes an idol. Okay, you become dark for the money, man. Okay, and it separates. It can separate you from Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, you know. But us becoming like Yahushua is valuable, man. That's more valuable than money, the money of this world, man. Okay, and with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into this world, and it's certain that we can carry nothing out. Yeah, because we know this is a temporary setup, man. Okay. So having, a mindset of, you got to have a certain number in your bank account to feel, like you made it. You see? Okay. You just break your neck at every opportunity to make $1. Okay. That mindset begins to die in the truth, man. And we become content with our situation, man. And then we're becoming like Yahushua, man. And then the Lord gives us what he needs. Yahushua, he provides, man. One thing about it, the more we depend on our power, and serve him faithfully, man. The Most High, Yahweh Shem Shai provides, man. It's not like we're serving the power that gets off on seeing us destitute. Nah, man. Okay, it's just a mindset thing, man. He doesn't want us to put wealth above him. He doesn't want us to put substance above him. Okay, the Lord, hey, it's me speaking personally, man. The Lord, them bless the plot, them bless the pot several times, man. Out of nowhere, man. Plenty of time minding my business, serving the Lord, and the Most High. Here you go. And then you in this truth, man, you develop a different mindset towards money. A completely different mindset towards money in the truth. I remember when the world used to hold on to money with a death grip. And I'm still frugal. Still, I say strategic. Try to be strategic as I can. With money. Okay. But not that mindset, that Scrooge, mindset. Okay. So reading on, because hey, this world, the things of this world are temporary, man. When we're changed, okay, we're gonna have real wealth, real substance. We're gonna have power. Okay. We're gonna have power, man, because you look at the most wealthy people, the most wealthy of our people on this side, they have no power. And Esau he picks one of them niggas and remind them every now and then that them niggas have no power. And it's a message to the nation, like, nigga, know how you can be a billionaire, you can have all these records and awards and plaques, and nigga, if I want you to be a laughing stock, I'm gonna make you a laughing stock, nigga. So the people that have the most substance on this side, our people, they have no power. Okay, and and the things they've had to do to get that money, man. The things that these people have had to do to get their money on this side, man. It says, and having food and raiment, let us be there with content. Yeah, simplicity, man. Being in the truth, man, it makes us appreciative too. Okay, it makes us extreme. It should make us appreciative of the simplicity. The simple things that the Lord blesses us with daily, man. And you look at this situation, man, there's people living in cars. Okay. There's people having to work, 70, 80 hours a week, crazy hours. Okay. There's people with full-time jobs living in cars, man. It's people in some jacked up situations, man. So, the Lord got us all right, man. We go through things, man. Sometimes, and money low. Sometimes the money okay. Sometimes, we up. But through and all, we're growing in Yahushua. We have the truth. We're growing in faith. We're growing in understanding. You see. So it says, in having food and raiment, let us be there with content. It says, but they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition, man. Because Esau, like, you go into America, man, especially in America, but not in the West. All right, but especially here in America, man, hey, You can get into some things, man, especially cities, man. It's a lot going on all the time, man, and money put you on the scene. Okay, certain type of money, hey, it put you on the scene, man. People checking for you, hey, you had that cash, and women checking for you. Hey, it's a strong thing. Money a powerful thing in this society, man. You have certain access, man, and certain treatment you can get, certain access you can have, man, and you gonna have that discipline, man. Okay, money can put you in some crazy situations, especially if you, like I said, if you don't have, that inner discipline, man. Hey, Babylon is meant to chew you up, okay, and spit you out, man. Okay, this is 1 Timothy 6:10. It says, "For the love of money is the root of all evil." See, the love of money, not money itself, but the love of money. When you idolize and when you worship and when you put money on the pedestal, when you attach, all right, your value to the money. Okay, they can become evil, man. It says, "Which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and have pierced themselves through with many sorrows." Okay, and there's men that have left this truth, coveted after money, wanting to chase a dream. Okay, Jake wanted to chase rap careers. Jake wanted that bag, man. Jake felt like he was missing out. You see? And now he's just out here, man. Okay? Look at these guys who have compromised the doctrine, man. They did it for the bad. They didn't err from faith. All these guys is on camera and teaching. They don't believe, man. They that's why they're so in tune with the right now. They so much on building their brand for the right now. Okay, nah, man. Hey, we're grinding in the spirit. We're making ourselves valuable to Yahweh by Shema Shai, man, for the world to come. Okay, and you read on verse 11 said, "But thou, O man of the Most High, flee these things and follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, and meekness," man. And we're following after that, man. The things that are pleasing to our power. Okay, we go get our daily bread. We do what we got to do. The Lord see fit to bless us. Hey, the water. Like the Apostle Paul said, I know how to abound. I know how to be content. Because even like I say in the truth, man. Because even like I say, man, I don't. Even in the truth, man, I still had this spirit, to make moves. But then, the Lord was like, "Nah, I need you on this assignment. I'm gonna make sure you're good, but I need you on this assignment." Okay, we got to be willing to submit to that, man. Because there's a time where the Lord might want us to downgrade for the sake of the ministry, man. Hey, the Lord will downgrade you just to see if you'll go through and build you right back up. Just speaking from experience, man. The Lord, a required downgrade, just to see, and then they build you right back up, even in a better position, man. This journey is about us trusting our power, man, and having faith in the world to come, man, becoming dead to this world, man. Psalm 62:10, it says, "Trust not in oppression and become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them." So the Lord, he blessed the situation. Even then, you see, we don't set our mind upon those things, man. We don't, the Lord throw us something, but that ain't where our mind is at, man. We don't lose our goddamn mind. Okay, we don't go crazy. Lord bless us, and then we just break character and break frame and just go, nah, man. It's still the same thing, man. Whether no matter how many zeros in the bank account, man, it's the same. It's the same spirit. Our forefathers were rich and they had the same spirit. This song, King David was wealthy. King David, we speak about, King Solomon. and his wealth, man. But King David was just crazy wealthy, man. Trillionaire status. Okay. But his mind was towards the Lord. You know, he stumbled, he had this slip up. Okay. But he remained faithful, man. You see, when the Lord, you know, when he was coming up, he remained faithful to Yahweh Bashim Al. Okay. So, you know, our forefather had substance, but they still was faithful to Yahweh Bashim Al. You know, when Daniel was thrown in the lion den, Daniel was a man of status. You see, he didn't care about his status. No, he was going to serve the Lord. He wasn't going to stop serving the Lord. You see, he was faithful all the way through. Got through in the lion den twice, and both times he was a man of status at that point. Daniel had servants, you see, when he was thrown in the lion den. You know? So, you know, if riches increase, man, we still, hey, we still servants of Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai, man. You know, and those riches don't deter us from serving our power. Okay? Gonna change up our belief. Okay? So let's go from there. I think that's yeah, let's get there. Let's get in the book of Luke, chapter 12. So when you go to the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 13, it's Luke 12 and 13. It says, and one of the company said unto his master, speak to my brother that he divide the inheritance with me. And he said unto him, man, who made me judge or a divider over you? You know, so this is Jake coming to Yahweh Shai, wanting him to mediate between, you know, him and his brother concerning the inheritance left by his father. Okay. And he said unto them, take heed. And Yahweh Shai was like, look, I didn't come here to be a mediator over the inheritance of you and your brother. Okay. I'm on a way higher assignment than that. I didn't come, okay, to play mediator, okay, between you and your brother and inheritance. All right, it is what it is. Okay. And he said unto them, take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consisted not in abundance of things which he possesseth. And he spake a parable unto them, saying, the ground of a certain rich man brought forth plenty. You know, so Yahushua made the point, and take heed and beware of covetousness. Okay, for a man's life consists not in the abundance of the things which he possesseth, man. That's not where our value comes from, our possession. But this world, it teaches you that your value comes from your possession, the car you drive, the type of clothes you have. Okay, you know how many square foot your house is, and this is like it's a very materialistic, man, where you're measured by materials. Okay, the latest shoes, the latest glasses, this type of watch, and you gotta be this brand, and you know, this and that. You see, this world measures you, okay, by material things. You know, and most people, they buy into that, man. They don't feel whole if they don't have certain materialistic things, man. But nah, man, it's true. You know, and that's a base way of thinking. You know, when people are valued, you know, by a materialistic thing. You know, and it says, and he spake a parable unto them, saying, the ground of a certain rich man brought forth plenty. And he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do, because I have no room to bestow my fruits? And he said, this will I do. I will pull down my barns and build greater, and there I will bestow all my fruits and my goods, and I will say to my soul, soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But the Most High said unto him, thy food, thy night, all right, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then who shall these things be which thou hast provided? So so is he that layeth up treasure for himself and is not rich towards the Most High. Okay, so this man, he had substance, and his mind was only on his substance. Okay, now he had all this access. He didn't think about, giving some away. He had all this access. He didn't think about giving nothing away. He didn't think about thanking the Lord. He thought, I'm gonna be a bigger barn so I can store more stuff, and then I'm gonna kick it. You see, that was his mindset. His life revolved around his substance. Okay, as Israelite men, our life supposed to revolve around Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, who gives us the substance, man. Okay, and if we have access, man, then it's our duty to be a good steward. That's another thing. If we have wealth and we have substance, or we're supposed to be a steward of that substance, man. Okay, but he was rich in this world, but he wasn't rich towards Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. There's a lot of people that's rich in this world that are not rich. They have no relationship towards Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, and that's the most valuable thing we can have, is a rich relationship with our power, man, because this is going to lead to eternity. The things that our people chase after and kill for and are obsessed with, man, we're going to have these things in righteousness on a whole nother level, man. We don't even know what wealth is yet. We don't know what substance is yet, man. We don't even know yet. Okay, some FRN notes. Okay, a foreign car. All right, these these poor built houses. Can't give a damn it's a mansion. It's poor built compared to what we're gonna have in the kingdom, man. Okay, so let's get this in the NLT real quick. Yeah, so this is Luke. Back in the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 21. Yeah, Luke 12 and 21 in the NLT, it says, yes, a person is a fool to store earthly wealth, but not have a rich relationship with the Most High. Okay? So now, man, however the Lord bless us, the Lord the Lord provide daily bread, a food and rain we content. However else the Lord bless us, man, but one thing that we value over the wealth and the money of this world is a rich relationship with Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, because that's going to go forever, man. Okay, there's going to come a time where wealth, all right, is not going to be, wealth is going to be irrelevant. We're coming a time of judgment. Okay, and if you got wealth with no relationship with the Most High, you're poor. Okay, you're going to be poor instantly, man. Okay, so now, man, they that trust in riches, they're not built, for the kingdom. You see, and the money gonna win every time if you trust in riches. Okay, so that was the point. Just want to tap into that. Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you few sisters edified once again. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh B'Hashem, Yahushua B'Hashem, Rakakwadash, double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutation, and hopefully shalom.